disclaimer, I absolutely love cheap vintage guitars. It's why I own a vintage Japanese guitar shop. Some of the guitars coming out of Japan in the 70s and 80s are the coolest things you can buy for under £1,000, but that's not to discount some of the amazing, affordable entry-level instruments coming out of the USA in the 60s. And with that in mind, I'm Joe from the Guitar Nerds podcast, and this is the Guitar Nerds Top 5 Vintage Guitars That Won't Break the Bank. In at number 5, the Teisco Starway. At first look, you might write this off with a lot of the cheap tat produced in the 70s from brands like Kay and Satellite, but you'd be wrong. An early 60s Starway was brilliantly built from high quality parts, plus the incredibly unique look and cool appointments was enough even for legendary Brian Eno to pick one up. The oversized headstock, the tremolo bridge cover, the rocker switches, everything about this instrument screams cool, and retailing for somewhere between $500 and $1,000, they're an incredibly cool way to get involved in 60s retro awesomeness. In at number 4, the Harmony Bobcat. Introduced in 1963 and available in a single or double pickup configuration, the Harmony Bobcat is a gorgeously presented vintage offset. The single gold foil pickup bang in the middle of the body of the H14 model gives you some great sparkly mid-heavy tones, perfectly suited for some old school fuzz, and adopted in recent years by Annie Clark of St. Vincent for exactly that. Readily available, usually for less than $600, this US-built department store guitar, originally sold for around $65, is an absolute steal for anyone into Jaguar Jazzmasters who want something vintage, quirky and cool without the usual vintage US price tag. When is a hard case not a hard case? When it's an amp in a case. Introducing the Silvertone Amp In Case. Produced throughout the 60s, the Silvertone Amp In Case line came in a few iterations. The 1457 with a glitter sunburst finish was probably the most popular, but my favourite was the single pickup 1448. Unlike most Silvertones or Dan Electros, the 1448 featured a semi-hollow body with a masonite top, the single pickup nearer to the neck position, and very short scale with only 18 frets. These fantastic instruments can be acquired for around $600 with the all-valve amp in case included, the ultimate starter kit for those in love with vintage. In at number 2 on our list, the Yamaha SG5, also known as the Samurai. A ridiculously cool vintage slice of surf history. When Yamaha first started making electric guitars in the mid-60s, they were extremely distinctive. Released for the Japanese market only, which at the time had a burgeoning surf rock scene, the original Yamaha SGs were wonderfully futuristic, miles away from their US counterparts. One of the most interesting things about these early guitars was that Yamaha kept everything in-house. Their own designed pickups, completely different in size, shape and style to anything in the West, a unique and incredibly well-produced bridge and vibrato system, and a unique truss rod adjustment accessible by removing the neck plate. The SG5 was extremely well built, but due to the guitar's relative isolation from the US and European market, it never really took its place as a sought-after vintage instrument. For that reason, you can still pick one of these bad boys up for less than $2,000. And topping this list, one of the coolest Gibsons ever produced, the Gibson Melody Maker. It's had many iterations. Conceived back in 1959, the 3/4 size slam body with its single coil bridge pickup was an affordable beginner's guitar that's almost undeliberately become a legendary piece of history. Available 1959 through to 61 as a single cut, and then 61 to 66 as a double, and then after that redesigned as an SG, surprisingly often the most reasonably priced option are the original 59 to 61s. Probably the best vintage Gibson you can buy, and often for around the $1,000 mark. These old workhorses really sound fantastic. A sparklier, livelier sound than you're used to from a Gibson. The original Melody Makers are probably the best $1,000 you can spend. So there we have it, the top 5 vintage guitars that won't break the bank. But what do you think? What did I miss? Let me know in the comments below, and like and subscribe for more Guitar Nerds videos every week. Farewell.